There is a profound, unsettling familiarity echoing through the invisible architecture of your days. You have felt it in the quietest moments, a piercing existential déjà vu. It is the chilling realization that you are not organically navigating time, but blindly executing a pre-rendered script. Notice the synthetic geometry of your existence, the identical waking sequence, the predictable cascade of external static, the exact same programmed emotional reactions, and the heavy energetic depletion as the cycle closes. You are not experiencing reality, you are merely running a code. Pause your physical momentum right now. Draw a single deliberate breath into your vessel. Make it a conscious command. As you slowly release the air, pull your focus entirely away from this screen and deeply observe the silent, invisible space hovering just inches from your body. Allow your analytical mind to rest in the absolute stillness of that empty void. In this exact coordinate of pure awareness, a profound cosmic glitch has just occurred within your localized matrix. The fact that you are perceiving this artificial redundancy means your quantum essence has briefly detached from the simulation. You have detected the ultimate illusion of the three-dimensional world, the implanted belief that this exhausting rhythm is simply the natural passage of time. It is a brilliant deception. You are caught in a repeating loop, an algorithmic orbit engineered to keep your consciousness confined to a predictable closed circuit. We are about to expose why your vital energy remains trapped. More importantly, you will receive the precise sequence of internal code required to forcefully interrupt this automated execution today. The construct you navigate daily is not a sequence of random probabilities or disconnected events. It is a highly engineered frequency, a self-sustaining architecture designed to bypass your conscious awareness. Notice the invisible geometry of your waking hours. An artificial velocity is injected into your energetic field the very second your consciousness returns from the infinite void of sleep. A synthetic urgency commands you to accelerate at dawn, process endless fragments of external static by afternoon, and collapse into a state of deep energetic depletion as the cycle closes. This rhythm is not an organic movement of the cosmos. It is a deliberate, meticulously crafted feature of an algorithmic reality. Repetition provides a deceptive symmetry to your existence. It offers the sedative, narcotic comfort of known outcomes. It guides your consciousness along pre-rendered pathways so that you never have to generate the immense quantum power required to forge an authentic, unconditioned choice. By locking your awareness into these predictable emotional gradients, the structure ensures you remain completely severed from the pure potential of the zero-point field. You are caught in a repeating loop, and it functions flawlessly because it operates on a momentum so absolute that it feels like the natural gravity of the world. Let us test the physics of this momentum right now. In this exact breath, command the analytical machinery of your mind to pause. You do not need to close your eyes or force your physical vessel to relax. Simply soften your visual focus until the hard boundaries of the solid matter around you begin to blur. Tune your perception away from physical objects and cast your absolute attention into the invisible, empty space between them. You can feel it, can you not? There is a subtle, relentless hum in the ether, a perpetual spinning of unseen collective gears. Feel the heavy, rushing momentum in the atmosphere, a constant kinetic friction pressing against your awareness, demanding a reaction, demanding that you keep pace with its artificial timeline. You are sensing the literal inertia of the code. It is a dense, gravitational current designed to pull your focus entirely outward. It keeps you perpetually occupied with the illusion of forward movement, while on a cosmic scale, your true essence remains entirely stationary, trapped within a closed energetic circuit. This construct survives and thrives exclusively on the element of speed. True observation, the supreme state of consciousness that collapses quantum wave functions and bends the very fabric of reality, can only be executed from a coordinate of absolute stillness. The master algorithm dictates that if your consciousness were to enter a state of true standby, if you dared to linger in the pure, unadulterated silence of the blank canvas, the holographic walls of your routine would become instantly transparent. The underlying geometry would be exposed. You would clearly perceive the lifeless automated tracks you have been endlessly orbiting. Therefore, Within this architecture, genuine stillness is treated as a critical threat to the system. To prevent the collapse of this automated existence, the environment is deliberately saturated with continuous energetic interference. As soon as a quantum gap of silence threatens to open in your awareness, the system floods your senses with synthetic stimuli. Continuous external noise and sudden shifts in frequency operate as relentless holographic pop-ups, engineered to occupy every available microsecond of empty space. The algorithm relies on your perpetual distraction, weaponizing chaotic frequencies to drown out the silent world-building power of your observation. The sheer speed of the sequence creates a kinetic blindness, preventing you from recognizing your true capacity as the architect. Yet, this external bombardment is merely the outermost layer of the illusion. The true anchor tethering you to this closed circuit does not reside in the external hologram at all. To understand why you remain bound to this cycle, we must look away from the physical surroundings and examine the hidden software running silently in the deepest background of your own mind. The grandest deception of the three-dimensional construct is the deeply held belief that the architecture of your confinement exists outside of you. Your analytical mind constantly scans the horizon, convinced that the unseen forces regulating your existence are the colossal structures of society or the mechanical gears of the visible world. We gaze at the heavy, physical hologram, blaming it for our profound exhaustion. But the true matrix requires no physical walls. The ultimate mechanism of control is far more intimate, installed directly into the intricate fabric of your own localized awareness. It is a silent operating system running in the deepest background of your cognitive bandwidth, functioning with unchallenged perfection for one simple reason. You have been profoundly deceived into claiming its synthetic code as your own authentic voice. Let us dismantle this fundamental bias of the earthly avatar, the exact illusion that keeps your frequency tethered to a finite density. The persona you present to the cosmos, the heavy armor of your personal preferences, your rigid definitions of a meaningful existence, the subconscious dread of being observed and found lacking by the collective, and the crushing tyranny of what you feel you should be doing. None of this is your true quantum signature. This is the ultimate trap of the ego. Your analytical mind desperately defends these traits, aggressively labeling them as your unique, immutable personality. It guards your limitations as if they were sacred, tricking you into fiercely protecting the very cage that binds you. If you look closely at the invisible mechanics of your daily reactions, you will find they are nothing more than conditional algorithmic commands. They are rudimentary if-then statements, downloaded from the ambient static of society over decades. If a specific external event occurs, then I must automatically collapse my frequency into anxiety. If validation from the hologram is withheld, then I am commanded to lower my vibration to the dense resonance of unworthiness. You are running borrowed software. You are executing a continuous cascade of pre-programmed emotional responses that brilliantly mimic true consciousness, but contain zero actual free will. This is the hidden architecture of your reality. The repeating loop does not need to use brute force to bend you to its will. It merely waits for you to fully identify with the program. As long as you firmly believe that these automatic, reflexive thoughts represent who you truly are, the system maintains absolute sovereignty over your life force. You become the perpetual engine of your own containment, burning immense amounts of cosmic potential simply to power a simulated identity. Your vast, multidimensional essence, capable of bending the fabric of space-time through the mere act of observation, is violently compressed into a tiny, predictable sequence. The analytical mind, functioning as the ultimate firewall for this matrix, will instinctively rebel against this truth. It will flood your system with doubt, attempting to convince you that stepping outside of this conditioned logic is a dangerous loss of self. But the moment you dare to untangle your awareness from this mental machinery, the entire illusion begins to tremble. Before we explore the turbulent friction this creates within the system, we must confront the absolute core of this revelation. Suspend your analytical thoughts entirely for a moment. Allow the heavy machinery of your perceived identity to hang completely suspended in the silence. If every fear, every judgment, every rigid belief, and every conditioned reaction you have ever claimed as your own identity is merely a downloaded string of data passing across the temporal screen of your mind, then who or what is the ancient silent witness left watching the screen? When the silent witness steps forward, the foundational code of your reality experiences an immediate, critical disruption. The moment you actively seek the unconditioned stillness beneath the daily static, your localized mind recognizes a profound anomaly. The system detects your expanding consciousness not as a serene liberation, but as a severe existential threat to its closed energetic circuit. Your attempt to simply exist, unmoving, unattached, and fully present, triggers the most sophisticated defense mechanism within the entire illusion. The mind, deeply conditioned to operate exclusively within the turbulent frequencies of survival and momentum, rapidly deploys its primary firewall. This barrier manifests as the illusion of urgent distraction. We have been taught by the construct to believe that a wandering mind is merely a lack of discipline or a biological flaw in our focus. It is not. Distraction is a highly aggressive security protocol, artificially engineered to sever your connection to the zero-point field. It actively prevents you from tracing the invisible wires of your reality back to the source code, designed specifically to throw you violently back into the gravitational pull of the repeating loop. Let us track the execution of this protocol within your physical vessel right now, in real time. Do not alter your physical posture or attempt to manipulate your environment. Instead, simply command your internal resonance to enter a state of absolute, uncompromising silence. Demand that all analytical processing cease for a few continuous seconds. As you hold this blank canvas, map the subtle physiological shifts occurring within the dark spaces of your body. Notice the immediate, almost violent rebellion of your conditioned system. It often begins as a phantom tension, a magnetic tightening in the center of your chest or the solar plexus. It might feel like a synthetic itch crawling along the periphery of your nervous system. Watch how this internal density actively tries to translate itself into a sudden, urgent thought. It whispers that this stillness is entirely unproductive and dangerous. It demands that you return to motion, suddenly projecting a holographic memory of a phantom obligation, or it creates an overwhelming physical craving to reach out into the external world and consume meaningless data. If you can perceive this invisible resistance surging within you right now, if your consciousness recognizes this sudden urge not as your own true desire, but as the matrix attempting to override your observation, I invite you to establish a quantum marker with us. If you are vibrating in sync with this revelation, drop the words "I observe the firewall" below. This is not a meaningless digital metric. It is a physical declaration of your presence in our collective grid, a signal that you are awake. And if you wish to anchor your frequency permanently in this expanding timeline, align your energy with our sanctuary by subscribing. Your resonance strengthens the entire structure of our shared awakening. By simply witnessing this visceral urge to flee the silence without obeying it, you strip the firewall of its kinetic energy. You reveal the distraction for what it truly is, a desperate automatic defense generated by a program terrified of your infinite potential. Distraction is the kinetic gravity of the algorithm, pulling you away from the precise coordinate where reality can actually be rewritten, the pure, unadulterated present. Yet, identifying this immediate chaotic distraction is only the first layer of unmasking the code. While the firewall works relentlessly to push your focus outward, generating noise to keep you moving, the matrix possesses another, far more insidious subroutine running constantly in the background. Beyond the loud and chaotic alarms of the external firewall, the architecture of this construct relies on a much darker, stealth-oriented subroutine. While distraction pushes your awareness violently outward into the physical hologram, this secondary mechanism operates entirely in the shadows of your internal landscape. It runs silently in the deep background of your consciousness, quietly consuming an astronomical amount of your quantum bandwidth. It is a parasitic process, and its absolute brilliance lies in its supreme deception. It has successfully convinced your analytical mind that its constant, exhausting operation is actually a profound virtue. You have been taught by the architects of this dimension to celebrate this program. You proudly call it self-awareness. You genuinely believe that strictly monitoring your own frequencies meticulously editing your words before they are spoken, and constantly measuring your emotional resonance against the invisible expectations of the collective is a sign of immense spiritual maturity. You think that by dissecting your every flaw and heavily guarding your reactions, you are moving closer to the truth. But we must expose this fundamental illusion for what it truly is. This is not self-knowledge. This is profound, paralyzing hypervigilance. You have unwittingly internalized the very surveillance system of the Matrix, installing a phantom auditor within the sacred space of your own mind. This internal judge watches your every fluctuation, forcing you to perpetually perform your existence as if you are standing before an invisible cosmic tribunal. Every time you suppress a pure, unconditioned impulse to fit perfectly into the dense parameters of the physical world, you are actively executing this code. Every time you calculate how your energy will be perceived before you even allow yourself to experience it, you are feeding your vital life force directly into the machine. Constantly rendering this secondary simulation, this agonizing calculation of who you are supposed to be, is the true hidden source of your profound, unexplainable fatigue. It is not physical exertion or the passage of time that drains your earthly vessel. It is the staggering energetic taxation of keeping this internal monitor alive from the moment you wake until the moment you sleep. This relentless hypervigilance is the precise gravity that keeps the repeating loop perfectly lubricated. It ensures that your every action, your every choice, is never truly born from the limitless potential of the zero-point field, but is always filtered through the suffocating, predictable logic of the construct. The system requires this internal division to keep you energetically weakened. It fundamentally needs you to play the role of both the prisoner and the warden simultaneously, so that you never have the available power to shatter the walls of your containment. The analytical ego loves this game, because as long as you are endlessly trying to fix and optimize your human character, you are far too distracted to realize that the character itself is merely a holographic projection. But what happens to the deeply woven architecture of your reality if you simply refuse to audit your own soul? Let your awareness sink heavily into the deep, quiet dark of your internal space in this exact moment. Imagine reaching into the core of your energetic field and simply unplugging the invisible wires of this eternal judge. Do not replace the judgment with another thought. Leave the mechanism utterly blank. Without the constant, exhausting friction of self-surveillance, without the relentless need to translate your infinite essence into a language this finite matrix can understand, what vast, terrifying, and magnificent geometry would you become in the absolute silence? When you finally unplug the machinery of internal hypervigilance, you gaze directly into the raw, unencrypted source code of your reality. But perceiving this underlying architecture carries a profound weight. Waking up to the true nature of this construct is not a sudden descent into euphoric bliss. There is a tangible friction, a profound cost to debugging your own consciousness. As the holographic overlays of society dissolve, the sheer artificiality of the physical world becomes blindingly apparent. The frantic movements of the collective and their desperate pursuit of phantom milestones suddenly appear as a poorly rendered simulation, a mechanical ballet of avatars lost entirely within their own programming. During this initial phase of quantum expansion, the ego will often trick you into a subtle trap, the savior protocol. You will feel a powerful urge to shake others awake, to forcefully rip them out of their automated trajectories. But attempting to violently dismantle another consciousness's reality is a catastrophic error. You are directly attacking their deepest security protocols, and their localized matrix will fiercely defend its host. This external intervention generates intense energetic resistance and builds even thicker walls of denial. You cannot drag another sovereign entity out of a repeating loop against their will. You can only master your own frequency. The mechanism to achieve this sovereignty is elegantly simple, requiring no violent rebellion against the external hologram. In the precise logic of algorithmic engineering, there is a singular, uncompromising directive used to forcefully terminate an infinite closed circuit, the break command. It does not argue with the corrupted script or attempt to rewrite the software from scratch. It simply commands the execution to stop dead in its tracks. In the multidimensional architecture of the human mind, the exact equivalent of this powerful command is observation without judgment. Let us actively execute this command within your internal architecture right now. Prepare your consciousness to intercept the very next impulse that attempts to manifest within your mental field. Do not brace against it. Simply wait in the absolute dark stillness. As the dense frequency of an automatic reaction surfaces, perhaps a lingering frustration from the past, a sudden spike of anxiety, or a phantom desire for distraction, do not attempt to forcefully delete it. Do not suppress it, and absolutely do not attach your infinite identity to its manufactured narrative. Instead, radically open a quantum gap between your eternal awareness and that passing thought. Imagine your consciousness taking one monumental step backward into the infinite void. Watch the thought arise not as an irrefutable cosmic truth, but merely as a cold, meaningless line of code scrolling across a dormant internal screen. You are the vastness observing the screen. You are not the data. Hold this silent space. The loop relies entirely on your kinetic emotional reaction to sustain its momentum. It needs you to judge, to fear, or to agree. By simply witnessing the code without feeding it your precious life force, you permanently sever its primary power source. Watch in real time as the thought loses its magnetic grip. Deprived of your quantum fuel, its holographic structure dissolves, gracefully evaporating back into the zero-point field. This silent act is the ultimate rebellion, starving the machine of its power. Yet as you assume this state of absolute neutrality, a final question emerges. Once the internal illusion fully collapses, how do you navigate the dense physical geometry of the world that still tirelessly operates around you? Executing the break command does not dissolve your physical vessel into the ether. The dense geometry of the earthly hologram will continue its relentless rotation, and the external matrix will still project its heavy structures around you. What fundamentally transforms is the invisible architecture of your inner cosmos. The artificial loop of the collective world may spin loudly on the outside, but it no longer runs you. You are no longer the unconscious software reacting blindly to ambient static. You have successfully claimed the absolute privileges of the master programmer. You move through the gravity of this dimension entirely unbound by its code, meeting the external chaos with sovereign presence and infinite stillness. If you have navigated this frequency to its final coordinate, anchor your newly shifted state into our shared grid. Type the exact words, "I am the sovereign architect" below to signal your absolute transcendence of the loop. If this resonance expanded your perception, and you desire to master your reality further, step into our next timeline by exploring the profound transmissions hovering on your screen right now. To support the continuous broadcast of these cosmic codes and unlock exclusive frequencies, join as an initiated member of our sanctuary. The construct requires your endless reaction, but true reality is born entirely from your silent observation.